Hello, health and fitness friends. This is Coach Brian with ForeverFit. I am starting a YouTube channel and I'm going to focus and concentrate on tips on nutrition, exercise, lifting, diseases, many health concepts. Hit the subscription button below and join to grow my channel. I appreciate it and thank you. I'm a very active person all my life. Been into wrestling, basketball, running, lifting weights, did everything. And while I was doing all this, I figured I could go ahead and get away with eating what I want. It caught up to me. My late 40s, all of a sudden, I realized that I was sick and inflamed and diseased inside. Something was going on. I went to my family doctor and did all kinds of tests, and we came up with high triglycerides. That's right, over 500. High blood pressure. Blood pressure was 130 over 96, on average 135. My A1C was 5.7. I was insulin resistant. I got my beta cells checked, and my pancreas there 3.2. My weight was up to almost 210 pounds. I couldn't fit 36-inch pants on anymore. It was around the waist, 36. They were too tight. I didn't feel good when I ran. Matter of fact, I couldn't when I started having problems breathing. I know everything was going south with my health. I had to do something about it. So I went to my doctors and we sat down and we talked, and he came up with a plan. He said, hey, I'm going to give you a sheet. Let's follow this diet and things will turn around for you. After about 2 weeks of following this diet, I decided, you know what? It's not really helping me. I didn't feel any different. And there's a lot of research, and I came up with the fact that they were just a whole bunch of carbs that were turning into sugar anyway. So I had to take more drastic measures because I also had fatty liver disease, and I definitely wanted to get rid of that. It's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. See, I was drinking Coke morning, lunch, and supper. Fructose corn syrup was damaging my liver. Way too much of it. I would get up in the morning, eat a bowl of cereal, not enough. Eat 2 bowls of cereal, not enough. I could eat a whole box of cereal. Lunch, I was eating a big sub, chips, and a huge Coke. After school, drinking a Coke. I could sit down and have a whole pizza, not a slice of pizza. So not only my weight was up to close to 210, I had fatty liver disease. I decided to take it upon myself, studied all the diets, and came up with the keto diet. I bought a glucose monitor, and one day I started. It was rough. I was so hungry. Second day we went down to Hershey Park. I had the most miserable day of my life. Kept passing all these stands with soda, dessert, snacks, and everything, but I stayed away from it all. My weight started to drop. I went from 210 or close to 210 down to 175 and 180 in no time. My triglycerides went down to 70s, 78, 80. My blood pressure went down to 110 over 70. A1C went down to 5.2. What a difference this was making. But you know what? I knew I still had the fatty liver problems because I still was getting a lot of pain in my right rib. Very bad pain too. So I decided to call NIH, National Institute for Health. Made an appointment. It was like a month later. This whole time I stayed on keto. I was getting my ketones checked. I'd stay between 0.5 and 1.5. So I was in ketosis the whole week. I came out of it a couple times during the weekend, but be right back in it on the Monday. And a month later, I just drove down to NIH, sat down with a doctor. He had a fiber scan down there and looked at my liver. Afterwards, he came out, he sat down with me, he said, I cannot help you. You cannot get on clinical trials. And I didn't know what to think about it, but I think I knew what he was going to say because by then I felt so much better. He said, you got rid of your fatty liver. You have no more fatty liver. He said, you should write a book on this. And he showed me the results from the beginning and then down there. He said, this is really good. He said, what'd you do? And I explained what I did. And he said, I tell people down here all the time about getting on that, but they just don't commit to it and don't do it. I did the research, figured this out on my own, drove back to Carlisle, and I decided to start lifting weights heavy and put some weight back on because I was down to 174. And so I was lifting weights heavy, putting weight back on, eating low carb. Got out of keto for a while, get back in it for a little bit and get out of it. Entered a physique competition and won it. I won my age group and the age group 10 years below me. North American USA physique competition. feeling really good, and turn around in 2021, all of a sudden I started feeling bad again. Started with drooling, dizziness, muscle cramps, muscle fasciculations. Fasciculations all over my leg, just started firing all over the body. Didn't feel good, had no energy, couldn't sleep. Swallowing started to become difficult. I stopped lifting weights, couldn't lift anymore. Something really wrong. Went to my doctors, do a process of elimination, come up with ALS. I can remember him telling me, get your affairs in order, take care of your bucket list, because you don't have long. 2 to 5 years, he said, sometimes faster. So I decided to go to a doctor higher up. He did more tests, came up with the same conclusion. He said, I have ALS. Him and I got in an argument because I told him I want to go back lifting. I love exercise, I love to lift, I'm going to get back to it. He said, oh, you're getting old, you shouldn't worry about that. And I was really upset with him. I said, well, what can I do? And he said, there are 2 drugs out there I could take. Would increase my life expectancy a couple months. I didn't want to hear it, so I left there very angry. Him and I were going back and forth. I went home, and within 2 days, I found on the internet Body Science, functional place. I contacted the scientists down there, and we sat and talked on Zoom, and I got down there within a couple days. And down there, we started all kinds of tests again. Started putting me on IVs right away, assuming just in case I get ahead of this disease. She didn't pinpoint knew what I had, but got me on IVs anyway. And through the testing, I found out I had high levels of Lyme, Borrelia burgdorferi, and Borrelia burgdorferi. I also had high levels of mold and gut problems. I don't want to get into this too much because we're going to make a couple videos with Body Science. Anyway, they treated all the stuff down there. I was down there for 3 weeks. It felt horrible. I remember the last day down there, I was going to come home, and I was scared that I wouldn't be able to make it through the airport. I couldn't walk very far. They gave me Aminos shots in my muscles to help me walk. I struggled making it through the airport, but I made it back home. They were the longest 3 weeks in my life. Every night I talked to my cousin, Deemer. I talked to my best friend from college. Other than that, I laid there just miserable. It was awful. But I got back home, and I had 20-some supplements to take, and I was doing everything they said. And I flew back down eventually for my SOT treatments, which were for my Lyme. Took blood out, sent it to Greece. They took my DNA, made an RNA strip, sent it back here, and they infused it in my body. And yes, my numbers dropped. SOT doesn't help everybody, but it definitely helped me. My Borrelia burgdorferi numbers dropped a lot. And I think I was starting to get rid of the mold too. I think the methane blue really helped. I decided to put back in. I wasn't retired because I retired before I went down. And I went back to school. I sat on the chair. I couldn't get up and move around. I laid around the rest of the day. I think the medical marijuana really helped me. I was making it, but I slowly started to feel a little bit better. Didn't have the energy. I was still cutting up my supplements. I couldn't swallow a whole lot. But over a period of 3-4 more months, things started to get a little bit better. It took almost a year. Then one day I decided, you know what? I wanted to lift. I wanted to exercise. I'm not doing this anymore. I went to Platinum, went up to lift. Was weak as could be, but I started back lifting. Within 2 weeks, I was so excited, and I had the desire to get better then, and I started feeling better. It's crazy, but I did. It was about a year, I turned it around, started lifting and feeling good. Where am I at now? I still have fasciculations off and on, still get dizzy at times, muscle cramps at times, but I'm living almost a normal life. I just recently benched 300 pounds. I can do 25, 30 pull-ups. I walk across the gym on my hands. I'm in very good shape. I feel good. Inside, I'm not 100%, but I'm working at it. Thank you to Body Science. Why am I on here? Because I'm going to share all the experience, all the information I learned over the last couple of years with you. I think dieting is a lot more than what you realize. Eating clean, getting away from the ultra-processed foods, getting away from sugar. If you want to be healthy, you have to do this. Moderation is okay, but we're eating way too much. I had 400 grams of sugar a day, and your body only needs 25, 30 grams of sugar a day. We're getting way too much. So I hope to see you on my next YouTube channel. Thanks for visiting, and see you next time.